Episode 1. How it starts. Final Fantasy 13-2, the first Final Fantasy game I've ever played. Before I get into the game, let me tell you how I even started playing RPG games. It all started with Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64. Back then, I didn't really know what type of game Paper Mario was. I was a little kid, so I just enjoyed the game how it is. I made it to the final boss and I lost so many times. In 2011, I played another RPG game called Kingdom Hearts on a PlayStation 2. I didn't know it was an RPG game either until I realized what I've been doing. Leveling up, gaining EXP, partners, and progression. Paper Mario and Kingdom Hearts have the same mechanics, sort of. Paper Mario 64 had this turn-based that allows you to pick an attack, use an item, or straight up leave. In order to activate turn-based battles, you will have to run into an enemy or hit the enemy. You can jump or use your hammer. Kingdom Hearts isn't a turn-based, but you still have enemies to encounter. When you are in an area that seems like enemies will appear, they will. You can fight them regularly like any beat-em-up game, or run away. Paper Mario and Kingdom Hearts can let the characters use magic. The magic is only limited, so you have to fight the enemies fairly to get some more. You can also earn money to buy stuff to help you along your journey. Most RPGs often makes you talk to people to progress through the story or getting something for your good deeds. RPG games have some of the toughest enemies yet. You will have to think really hard about your next move. Paper Mario is a great example for strategies because the enemies won't do a thing until you're done selecting an option. But on Kingdom Hearts, that's a whole different story. I will have to run away from the enemies and think of a strategy, but then the enemies won't give me the time to think. They'll just kill me and wish I never existed in the first place. RPG games are one of the hardest genres I've ever encountered. I haven't beat the final bosses in both of those games because I haven't done what I was supposed to do in an RPG. Now, let's go to Final Fantasy 13-2. Episode 2. Similarities. I am not a fan of Final Fantasy, but I might become one after playing this game. I was hearing things about Final Fantasy and stuff, but I was getting Sonic the Hedgehog games during that time. On May 2016, I decided to play the demo of the game, Final Fantasy 13-2, and they started me off at Brusher Ruins 5 AF. Sarah and Noah was already on level 12 when I first started off. I died to the first enemies I saw twice. I was so disappointed in myself that I needed to try again, and I won. The battling system was a little odd to me. The characters move around while you're selecting a moveset. Anyway, enemies can pop out of nowhere. You can either encounter them by running or walking towards them, or hitting them. Why is this sounding familiar? After getting EXP, I went against Atlas and lost a lot. I am terrible at RPGs. After deleting the demo, I got the rental of Final Fantasy 13-2, and it was amazing! I actually did a blind gameplay, but I haven't uploaded it to YouTube. I never completed the game because of the rental. June the 1st came around and I got the game without rental, and I got the beginning of Final Fantasy 13. After playing this game again, it felt different because I already knew what was coming. The battling system, I mean. I can compare Paper Mario and Kingdom Hearts to Final Fantasy 13-2. Number 1. Interactions. Paper Mario, Kingdom Hearts, and Final Fantasy 13-2 lets you talk to the townspeople and sometimes give you stuff to do so you can get rewarded. Number 2. Partners. What's an RPG game without partners? That's an action-adventure game. It doesn't count. Number 3. Battle results. After winning the battle, mostly Paper Mario and Final Fantasy 13-2, you receive items, EXP, and money. I mean, Kingdom Hearts received them too, but Kingdom Hearts doesn't transition to another battlefield. Just fight the enemies without going nowhere, but there. And number 4. Battle system. Both Paper Mario and Final Fantasy 13-2 transition to another battlefield after encountering an enemy. Now, here are where the similarities ends for Paper Mario and Final Fantasy 13-2. Mario stands still and can waste all the time he wants without punishment. Final Fantasy 13-2 has this gauge thing called Pharaoh Gauge that can let you select 3 attacks or 3 types of magic. Note that you can also upgrade 2 more times to make it to 5 gauges for more effect. Here are some similarities with Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy 13-2 battling system department. Although you can move your characters freely on Kingdom Hearts, and on Final Fantasy 13-2 makes the characters move by themselves. But hey, they can move in the battle. They also can upgrade their hit 5 times to hit the enemies. Now this is where all the similarities end for both Paper Mario and Kingdom Hearts for Final Fantasy 13-2. On Final Fantasy 13-2, your magic can never run out. You can use it as much as you please, and after you win the battle, your HP is restored for the next upcoming battle. I'm done talking about the similarities of the games. Now I can talk about this game and this game alone. There are some things I haven't even touched on yet. Part 2 is gonna hurt physically and mentally.